Da 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 da. My good friends, my good friends, my good friends. Do a little bit of everything, everything. Cause it takes a bit of everything, everything. My good friends, my good friends, my good friends.
So we don't claim them. We don't claim them. Cool. All right. Well, welcome to the show. We're early, live in Denver, before the crowds here. My friend Mike, what's going on? What's happening? What's happening in Rev Cycle these days?
Just dealing with all the payer shenanigans.
Yeah.
Our biggest challenge these days are the commercial managed care plans and the government plans, right? So that's our biggest issue. I know a lot of people are struggling with staffing, cash, but, fortunately where we're at, we're not dealing with those types of issues. Our biggest issue is just the payers and just the amount of administrative burden that they're putting on our teams these days. That's our biggest challenge. So,
Right.
Fortunately, we have some good partners that we deal with that help support it. And, I was just meeting with one of our reps at a law firm that we utilize. And so we've implemented a very aggressive legal strategy to help go after the payers. And I think it's been very beneficial, right? I think, medical necessity, you can talk about it all day long. But unless you start fighting back with the payers, it's the only way you're going to win. And the way you win is you go to arbitration. Legal. And
That's about a lot of people make mistakes. I think they just think like, we'll get some nurses, we'll do some clinical denial appeals, which is good. You need to do it, but it's like there's a whole other legal aspect.
100%. We have a team of nurses that do the clinical appeals first. We follow every step we have to do based on our contract, based on the payer policies. But then, we got to a point where it's like, now what? When we meet with case management, we review cases, they agree it met the level of care. Payers still deny. Now we go to legal. And, we've been very successful with that program. And, I sit through some of these sessions and I don't hear that legal strategy. And
No.
I just think that's a piece that some providers are missing. And, you have to be patient, right? You have to understand you're not going to, make the payers happy, but they don't care at the end of the day, right? It's 10 years ago. It was all about partnerships and, the our managed care department,
Right.
and it was all a partnership. Everybody
Right.
loved everybody. Everything's changed.
Well, they're
And-
like people don't realize. Most people don't think like they're different departments. The department that does the appeal review at the insurer is a totally different department that does like the contracts. They
Mhm.
don't even probably know each other or talk to each other.
100%.
So you think it's like it's one big. It's like I always thought we had this analogy the other day. Is like it's like an NFL team. You think they're all like, the Cowboys are all the Cowboys. Well, not really. Like there's offense and defense are basically two different teams, and then you break it down even further.
Yep.
It's like those quarterbacks, they basically hang out together.
Yep. Yeah.
Different coach, the whole thing. So I think it's very interesting. Insurers are kind of the same way. People think it's all this, you're gonna have this great partnership, but all you ever see is they're your rep, and that rep is just a client service person.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
They aren't doing the claims.
Yeah, and then they'll call us up once they get the legal letter, and what's going on? I thought we had a good relationship. Well, yeah, but
You didn't
go
follow
talk
it.
to your claims processing people, and why are you denying our
You
claims?
didn't follow
And
the
so-
letter of what you decided
Yeah.
the contract was.
So, yeah, I think that's a piece talking to other organizations that's a piece they're missing. And, fortunately we have the resources at Northwestern, but I think, that legal strategy is the only way you could start putting pressure on the payers, right? Until contract negotiations are up, those are 2-3 year contracts. And so in the middle of those contracts, these payers are changing their policies. So
Oh.
you can't do anything. You can't go back to the table until that contract's
Right.
up. So your only other avenue these days is after
Legal
you do your
recourse.
appeals is
Yeah.
do legal.
Yeah.
And we've got a very strong firm that helps us, and we've been able to recoup quite a bit using that strategy. So
great.
that's our biggest biggest hurdle right now, right? Fortunately, we've got a great team, and we're not in a huge staffing shortage, right? We're looking to hire a few people, but you know, the candidates are different than they were a few years ago, but we get through it. But none of us started. We didn't go to college to be rev cycle people. We all learned it, and so that's
So yeah, where did you get? How did you get your start? Let's go back in
sure.
time.
Yeah, so
Where'd you grow up?
south suburbs of Chicago.
You're a Chicago guy, though.
I am born and raised in the suburbs of Chicago. My wife likes to say the south side, but it's the southwest suburbs, so
No,
a
I
lot
got you.
different.
I got you.
And no, went to Illinois State University. I was a stockbroker for a month out of college. Didn't like that, so then I applied for a position at West Suburban Hospital as a cash application supervisor, and
What? So did you get, like, a
25
finance
years ago.
major? Like,
I was a
what?
finance,
Okay.
yeah, have a major in finance, and so Phyllis Morazzo, who is finally going to retire Thursday after 80, she turns 80, so she
What?
hired me out of college. I've been doing this for 25 years now. I've done pretty much anything and everything with revenue cycles.
So wait, you started as like a cash, like in the cashier's office?
Cash posting, yeah, I
Cash
was
posting.
back in the day. It
Dang.
was manual.
Yes. Just
Manual
a ton of people.
remit, cashier's office. I remember the first week I started, I had to go talk to somebody up in the room because they were running up the phone charges. So that was back when you were charging patients for using phones. You were charging them $3 a day to watch TV. So it was quite the learning experience.
Totally remember
they don't
that.
teach you that in college, and so that's why, But I was fortunate. Got a good start, and
So where'd you move from there? You were doing cash?
I was at West Sub for 5 years. I did cash. I was over cash. I was over physician billing. I just was able to grow, but I was able to learn everything. It was crazy. All the women managers I worked with, so Medicare, managed care, Medicaid, they all kind of got pregnant at around the same time, and so they all took leaves, and so Phyllis is just like, go learn, take that over. So I was able to do that, and so I did physician billing, I did Medicare, I did it all, and then left there and went to Sherman Hospital in Elgin. Was over to cash or credit and collections, billing, and all that. I was there for 5 years as well. Then did a short stint at Syntegra. Then ended up in Payless Community Hospital for 8 years as a director there, and then had an opportunity to go to Northwestern. And great move. Been there for 7 years.
7 years. Okay.
Really worked with some great people, great leaders there. Orsini is probably, if you don't know him, is one of the most
He's a CFO for people who don't
aggressive
know.
CFO who knows revenue cycle better than any CFO I've ever dealt with. But he's also such a great leader and gives us the resources to make sure we're collecting every dollar possible. So it's a really great organization to work for. Doing a lot of growth. When I started there, we were 4 hospitals. Now we're 11, up to about a little over $7 billion net revenue. So pretty large system.
Huge.
So yeah, that's my career. 25 years I've been doing this. So
You grew
done
up
it
in
all.
man. That's rare. You don't see that very
Yeah.
often.
Yeah.
Where someone just grew up doing
Right.
from where you started.
That's all I've done. That's all
Wow.
I've done.
You know it all. So what gets you out? Like, what gets you excited? Like, what's like you're doing rev cycle for this long. Some people either get burned out and be like, I'm done. I'm gonna go work for a vendor
Yeah.
or something else. Like, what? How do you keep going? Like, what's your motivation?
Um,
What do you love about it?
the best part of it is never the same, right? I think with it is to a point, but yet with the government regulations, the payers, like we talked about, it's always changing, right? So it's never different. It's never a dull moment, I should say. But now, as I've grown, and in my current role, I think what I like is growing my team and seeing growth within my management team and getting them visible and getting them growth just like I was given an opportunity. So I think mentoring my team now is one of my biggest. That's what drives me these days.
Shout out to Sam.
Shout out to Sam, Jory, Jen, all the folks, Ralph, Bob, Dawn, Karis, can't forget everybody out, Michelle, Cindy. But
That's right.
it's a
Whole
great
community.
team. They're really
awesome.
great, and that's my biggest driver these days is really just seeing that team and growing them and trying to mentor them and to get them the same exposure I was given. And nothing we do surprises me anymore. Or I don't know how to resolve it. It's just so that, when you're doing this for 25 years, I really like the clinical piece of it. That was one of the, to your point, right? There came a point where I got kind of burnt out and like, okay, what do I want to do? And it's given an opportunity to get more involved in bed management and placement and just all of that and just the clinical and working with the nursing folks and, getting their side of, the perspective on how things and why can't you discharge patients, due to, a lot of it is they don't have somebody to pick them up, so delays, discharges, things like that. So getting that kind of perspective and, just learning from that's what I really enjoyed, and it really opened my eyes up to how it all works, right? I mean, typically everybody just like what we do, shit falls downhill, right? And that's all we have to pick up, but yet you don't really understand the clinical piece of it and, the coding and all that and how critical it is. But just being able to learn that, so nothing surprises me anymore. So, but yeah.
Nothing surprises you. How is it at academic? I mean, you weren't in academics before. Those were all community hospitals.
Yeah.
This has got to be a lot. Teaching.
It's a lot. The teaching piece of it.
Is it harder? Is there more resources? I have found, like as part of my forums, I found that definitely more. I get more academics than I would have thought. Usually because they've attracted people who are innovators, who are ready to do, and they're given, at least in my mind, it seems like they've been given more leeway to try.
Yeah.
I don't know if
agree.
that's true across the board, but
It's definitely true at Northwestern, right? I mean, our academic center, Northwestern Memorial, right? That's what we like to call our mothership, right? And so just learning how the academic piece and all the physicians and the clinical trials and all that piece has been very interesting in understanding how that, and then what I really enjoy with Northwestern is all of our community hospitals that bring that academic down to them, right? Or, try to take some of what we've learned downtown and move it into the community hospitals in the suburbs. It's been really interesting to see how that's developing, and it's been great for the communities and things like that. But yes, being in an academic medical center it allows you to be more innovative and just do different things than you're used to, and that's a piece I like.
do you have more stakeholders? Is there like chairs of departments, and you're like,
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
gotta go
yeah.
get the chair.
Especially on the physician side,
He or she's
yeah.
unhappy.
Yeah. Especially on the physician side, there's a lot more.
And you have both physician billing and hospital billing.
Yes, and I think on the physician side, right, you get more of the chairs, whereas on the hospital side, it's just making sure all the CFOs are happy and things like that. But yeah, now on the PV side, physician side, you've got to deal with department chairs. So yeah, it's been interesting. So
That's interesting. I was thinking, like, how many stakeholders do you have? But you probably have a fair amount.
throughout the organization, it's
that
quite
are
a
like
bit.
interested
It's quite a bit.
or
Yeah.
like, hey, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know so what else is happening? What else are you working on?
That's the biggest things right now. I think we've got a couple integrations going on. Couple our Northwest region facilities. We've had outsourced team, Savista, working the revenue cycle. So that was a contract that we inherited. So that one ends in August. So we're going to bring that into our centralized business office. And so we've got about hired 20 people for that, just to take that, so we do it internally. So that's a big project we're working on. Then Palos Community Hospital, they're on Epic today, but a different instance. And so they're moving over October 1st to our instance of Epic. So just integrating all that. So we got a couple big integrations in the next few months. And so that's been our biggest priority these days, outside of obviously.
What are you guys doing on automation? Like, what's your strategy?
Yeah, that's a big one, right? We
Not
have
just a buzzword. I just
it's
curious,
a
like,
huge
is
buzzword.
Is it
right?
something
So
that you're doing?
we are
What
actually. We
what's
do
your-
have robots doing some work for us.
Doing some work.
We've partnered with a solution out there that really it's been good. On the hospital side, I can speak very passionately for it because we got from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, we get about 2,500 to 3,000 denials per month for medical records, and so we were manually having to pull the records, upload them into Availity, and we've actually automated that entire process where there's no individual touching anything. So based on the ANSI code that comes in, we got work queues, drives the work queues, then the robot
You're an
picks
Epic
it up.
shop, just so I'm.
Yep,
Yeah, okay.
yep, full Epic. So we've done that. We're actually looking to change vendors just due to costing things and obviously different options. But automation's a huge initiative at Northwestern. So we are actually.
Are you gonna build your own? Like I've heard a lot of people talking about building their own.
There's talk
capability.
using Microsoft product to do it. But yeah, we would own it, right? We would build it.
Yeah.
Our teams would do
Have
it.
your own
so
RPA builder.
Yep.
engineers.
So
Yeah.
that would be that's what we're leaning towards. It's obviously cheaper to do it that way than some of these vendors. But yeah, that's been good. I mean, we've got some good workflows in place that we've got the robots doing it, and that obviously not robots, but it's automated, and it's taken it's not eliminating staff. It's just repurposing them to do follow-up work versus just that manual
Oh,
touch.
totally.
So
Yeah.
we continue to push. I continue to push my leadership team to say, continue looking at your workflows. Any workflow you see that there's touch, let's see what we can do to automate that piece.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
we've been doing eligibility, automated eligibility. That's not automation. That's not AI. The AI is actually, not AI, but automation is more, like we said, keystrokes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
what can you
Eliminating
automate?
keystrokes.
Yep. So yeah, that's a big project.
No
of
one's
ours,
really
so.
doing AI at this point.
No.
So don't.
No.
That's
No
just
matter
a
what
term
anybody
I hear,
says,
I'm
it's
like,
a term,
really?
and it's like no.
Your and if
Yeah.
then statement.
Yeah,
isn't
no.
what we
It
probably,
just it's impossible. It just yeah, no.
It's not there.
Not there
yet.
yet. No.
Interesting. All right. Well, I'm gonna do rapid fire with you.
Okay.
Rapid fire questions. I like to do these just when I'm doing one-on-ones. Let's see. What are you reading these days? What's on your nightstand?
I don't read books.
You don't read books? Audio? Nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing. No books.
No, I'm a sports guy, so I watch ESPN,
You
Sports
like to
Center,
watch a lot of sports.
baseball.
All right,
I
no
watch.
books. What about what's the last show you binged and loved?
Ozark. If you just finished Ozark.
I haven't seen.
So
I haven't seen the second part of the season.
disappointing finish, but it
Really?
is what it is.
Oof.
But yeah, no, that's what I just finished. So haven't started anything new yet.
Ozark. It's a good one.
Ozark, good.
It's a good one. Favorite vacation?
Scottsdale.
Oh,
Taking my son and I go to Scottsdale in the winter to play golf.
play
and
golf.
So that's my favorite spot.
Nice, good,
Yes.
excellent. What's your favorite course there?
Greyhawk.
I haven't played that. I heard
Very
it's
nice.
great.
So yeah.
What's something people get wrong about you?
Ooh, that's a good question. Wow, I don't have an answer to that one. You
We'll have to
stumped me
ask
on
Sam
one.
that. We'll have to
Yeah,
ask Sam
you
that
got me
question.
stumped on that one. So
Well, it's always like sometimes people have a perception about people, and so we're always curious to say if like there's something. I'm sometimes quiet when people first meet me, and I'm like, it's just me. Like I'm somewhat of an introvert actually, and so but people see that as being like intimidating or standoffish. Like I'm doing it on purpose. And like I don't even know I'm doing
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so it's like yeah, you're probably wrong about that. Anyways, all right, well, Mike, this has been great. Thanks
Yeah.
for doing it. It's early in the morning.
no problem. Thanks for having me. It's been
Glad
fun.
we could do it.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
My good friends, my good friends, my good friends. Do a little bit of everything, cause it takes a bit of everything. My good friends, my good friends, my good